across Pembrokeshire on the Pure West Radio app, the website and your smart speakers. And plenty to get through between now and 9. We will round up the best of the weekend's football and rugby from across Pembrokeshire and bring you details on the 4th round West Wales Cup draw. We'll also keep an eye on the indoor cricket with the playoff match between Hook and Pembroke now well underway in Neyland. Gordon Thomas with me this evening. Evening, Gordon. How are you?
Evening, Ben. It's nice to be back. We've had a little bit of a break from the live show, but it's good to be back this evening talking about local sport again.
Yeah, and I will wish you Happy New Year. I know it's the 13th of January, but we'll get that ticked off right now because we are actually going to go straight to our guest, actually, Gordon. We are joined by the Haverfordwest County Chairman, Rob Edwards, because it's been an interesting few months at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium and an interesting day today as well, because details have emerged of a revamped Welsh League Cup for next season that would feature Swansea, Cardiff, Wrexham and Newport County alongside the JD Cymru Premier League sides, of which Haverfordwest County very much won. And there will be a place in Europe up for grabs for the winners. So I thought we'd get some reaction from Rob to this story, because it has picked up quite a bit of interest. Happy New Year and good evening, Rob. What was your reaction to this news?
Yeah, Happy New Year, both. Good to see you back all as well. Yeah, look, there's always something going on in Welsh football. It's a non-stop Mardi Gras, as you'll know. Yeah, look, it's obviously things that have been spoken about as part of the league review, of which the league format was released recently, that went down pretty well. But that alone isn't going to change the landscape of Welsh football. It needs a radical change. You can't kind of do what you've done for 30 years and expect the club to overnight become a lot more competitive and to generate a huge amount of revenue. So it's something that has been on the horizon for a while. It was discussed in various meetings that clubs have had with FAW representatives. But I think obviously today there's been a lot of I'll say violently passionate views on the new format. But I just find it that we're in a position, in principle, yes, we like the idea of the fact that there's going to be more money coming into Welsh football and this is what it can develop. But the key word is in principle. Like we don't know yet how they're going to do that necessarily. So the fact that there's so much negativity around it is crazy, really, because people are making comments and statements on what's right and wrong in this decision without actually knowing what the impact is going to be. Look, we see the value. I see the value. The club sees the value in Welsh football. It sees the opportunity. That's why we're doing it. And I think for us, as we sit, we're delighted that the FAW have seen that finally as well, and they see where the league can go, and they're going to put some investment in it. But it's not. It can't be just an amount of money the FAW put into the league, because they'll only invest once. They won't get the return that they need to continually invest that amount of money. It needs a radical change that will consistently bring in additional revenue, not just the Cymru Premier clubs. It's not about one club. It's not about one league. It's not about one competition. It's about Welsh football as a whole. If more money comes into Welsh football, it will benefit everybody. And that's what we're signing up for. And that's what we will hold the FAW accountable for again, it's said it's in principle. It's not been approved by EFL. It's not something that is guaranteed that's going to happen. So in principle, yeah, I think it could make a really big difference. We just need to know the workings of exactly what that means before we can really make an educated decision. But like I said, there's been a lot of negatives, a few positives flying around, but it's hard to really make a case for either without knowing the direct impact of what that means for clubs. But overall, look, we want the best for Welsh football, and if that means the Cymru Premier not having a UEFA competition spot for itself, obviously we're going to be in the competition. There's no guarantees that these clubs will win it, but the Cymru Premier has flirted with losing the fourth spot year in, year out. So it's not something that we're guaranteed to have with or without that. And I think the financial impact of this competition, if it's marketed and the kind of numbers and the benefits that have been spoken about come true, then it would far outweigh the kind of benefit of one club playing in European competition. So we've got a lot bigger picture.
Gordon.
Yeah, collectively, Rob, it's. I can remember the old Welsh League Cup years ago, or even the Welsh Cup when Newport, Swansea, Cardiff, and Wrexham were involved then. And I do remember Swansea and Cardiff both playing on the old Bridge Meadow, and it brought in a tremendous amount of interest and crowds. So hopefully, if they go ahead with this with a new sponsor with the competition and really give it a big boost in Welsh football, which you've just been talking about, I can see it as a positive. And I'd also like to say congratulations to you, Rob, and the club on the new 3G service. I think it's a really an improvement and making the town move forward as well, because on a business structure, you can obviously let the pitch out during the winter months and summer months all year long, and hopefully that will bring a bit of income in to keep the Welsh League football side running at the level they're at now. And they're in a great position, as we're well aware. They're third in the Cymru Premier. That's brilliant going into the split, and that's before tomorrow's night game against Barry Town, the last game of the split. So well done on all those fronts, and I can see things positively moving forward.
Thank you, Gord. Yeah, look, it's been a long time coming. The pitch. We've been really open and vocal about what we want to do with the club. Not necessarily on the pitch. On the pitch, we know we're probably not, for a number of reasons, got to where we wanted to get to in the league position. Although we obviously had a European playoff win and a great campaign in Europe, we've always felt we should have been a top six side over the last few seasons. So to get there and to get there comfortably is obviously a credit to Tony, the coaching team, the recruitment done in the summer in terms of bringing in more experience. So on pitch, I think we deserve to be in the position we're in, and hopefully that's now the floor in terms of where we can expect to be going forward. Off the pitch, we've not been shy about the agenda in terms of growing the women's and girls game, improving the kind of competitiveness and the attraction of the academy. We've always tried to do as much as we can in terms of activations within the community, but this now gives us a lot more ammunition to really impact the town. So yeah, it's been on our agenda from the get-go, and we've done what we could with the facility that we have. But now having our own pitch in our backyard with everything around it is a great testament, not necessarily just to me, but the board that put so much time in, particularly Married, the vice chair, to make it happen, and everyone's embraced the opportunities that it can come with inside the club. So it's a great team down there, and I think we're on a really good trajectory to make real positive change within the town.
And the numbers you've had, certainly on New Year's Day, the attendance for the Aberystwyth game, that was backed up as well against Britain Ferry, Rob. It feels like that connection that you've worked so hard to really forge in the time you've been at the club is there. And you must have been like really proud of the attendance figures that you've had and the way people have been getting behind the side.
Oh, like New Year's Day to have nearly we're capacity of 1,500, so we were 27 short of having a sellout crowd. I'm not sure the last time the Bridge Meadow had a sellout crowd for a Haverfordwest game. I think at Haking Goodwick Cup final has probably had a few sellouts in the past, but not for Haverfordwest. And I think it's a lot of work gone in by the team for months leading up to that to make that really successful. We wanted to make it a great homecoming. We wanted to make a kind of festival atmosphere, and it was backed up with 3 points on the pitch, which hopefully then incentivized people to come back. And obviously we gave them an even better show 4 days later when we beat Britain Ferry 5-1. So yeah, look, we're doing all we can to bring people down and make it a really good day out for people. And they're buying into it, and hopefully they'll keep coming back. But to have over 500 on a Saturday game is a big breakthrough, because we know how difficult it is with the competitive kind of awareness of Pembrokeshire League. Midweek we tend to have good attendances regardless. A lot of sport going on in Pembrokeshire on a Saturday, so that was nice to break that milestone. And yeah, look, it's so important that people keep coming back and supporting us, and we'll keep doing all we can to make sure we we put on a good show on and off the pitch. But yeah, the New Year's Day was particularly really proud. We had some nice messages from people locally that went to the game, and it felt really it was a really big day.
It looked absolutely fantastic. Let's just finish. I know you need to go, but just on the League Cup story, Gordon mentioned the teams that had played in Europe in the past that qualified through the Welsh pathway. I think Wrexham were the last team to do so in 95-96. They played in the Cup Winners' Cup, the last time to do it through a domestic platform, and they'll have one eye on this, Rob, won't they? Let's not beat about the bush, because for Wrexham and their story, the chance to get into European football, that must be really whetting their appetite. Is there a feeling from the Cymru Premier sides about that, and wanting to make sure this is done for the right reasons and that one club doesn't dominate more than the other? Is that something that's on your kind of agenda when you look at this idea?
Whenever anyone talks about Welsh football, the first club they mention is Wrexham. That's a testament to the brand that the owners have created and the awareness that it's had. I think Wrexham is great for Welsh football. It's a great story for Welsh football, and it ultimately brings in income to Welsh football, although not directly spent within the domestic league. It will impact at some level throughout Wales, but having a marketing machine like Wrexham in a competition is going to generate interest, which therefore generates commercial opportunities, right? That's the big thing that we will need to understand is this competition isn't for them. It's, yes, they're going to get the benefit of European competition, but it's not for them. It's for Welsh domestic football. The benefit of having those clubs in it is for Welsh domestic football, not for Cardiff, Newport, Swansea, because if they qualify for European competition, yes, it's quite lucrative, but relatively, that amount of money to Cardiff, Swansea, particularly, probably more so for Newport and Wrexham, it's quite a substantial amount of money. But for Cardiff and Swansea, it's not a huge amount of money. It's not going to directly impact the trajectory in which that club goes. The benefit is and needs to be, and from our understanding, is purely for investment in the Welsh leagues. If one of these clubs qualify, they're going to compete. You would expect them to compete more in European competition. If we bring our coefficient up, that generates a huge amount of additional money into Welsh football. The competition alone, with sponsorship, with TV rights, with streaming, with attendances, with like that's going to directly impact Welsh football. So that's what I mean from the beginning. It's not about one club, one competition, one league. Yes, I'm for a league, for a tier 2 side not to compete in the Nathaniel Cup is probably disappointing for them, and I get that point of view, but they need to weigh up playing 1 or 2 games in that competition against potentially the level of investment and development within infrastructure across the leagues, which you would expect would far outweigh that negative. So I see some elements of it, but as I said, it's bigger picture, and I think having eyes on the league is only going to be a positive, and I really look forward now to seeing what that the nuts and bolts of what that entails, and whether we can see tangibly whether that really impacts the league that we in a way that we feel it will.
Agreed. We'll follow this story, and I think it will continue to get a bit of interest as they kind of put it together and maybe come up with something more concrete. Rob, I think Haverfordwest against Wrexham would be amazing on the Ocky Bridge Meadow. I think we'd have to call it the fly on the wall documentary derby, and because you've both done your own behind the scenes.
Well, the Rob and Ryan derby. We're both got Robs and Ryan, so we'll take them on.
Exactly. I think Haverfordwest is better than the Wrexham one. Let's be absolutely frank about it. But that would be exciting. Good luck at Barry tomorrow. Obviously, a bit of a break coming up before you head into the second stage of the season. But do pass on our best wishes to Tony Pennock and the team, because it has been a brilliant phase 1. We're really proud of the work you guys are doing. So keep it up, and good luck at Barry. We'll let you go, Rob. Thank you very much for being with us on Pure West. We are going to take a moment, and Gordon Knight will be back in just a few moments this Monday evening.
Eaton Evans and Morris Solicitors